Of all the plugins that I own, I'll be ranking them from god tier to dog shit. What defines these terms slash tiers? If I use it or not. If the money spent felt like it was worthwhile. If you can come back to it time and time again. Is it in my everyday use? Do I only touch it once in a while? Do I barely touch it? So on and so forth. But based on those kind of ranking criteria based thingy bobbers, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. And I've only got one variant of Lounge Lizard. Um, this one is pretty chill, honestly. It only has like 8 to 12 sounds, but I use it a lot for my West Coast R&B, kind of like soulful vibes. It's a really cool like Rhodes Wurlitzy kind of piano. I'd want to put this in like a low B tier because it's definitely expensive for what it is, which I think is a big, thing holding it back nowadays. But aside from that, I think it's pretty darn useful. So if you've got the cash and you like the sounds, definitely check it out. Unison Chord Genie. This one is gonna get, I feel like, some controversy over it because I know a lot of people think Unison is just, a menace to society, which in retrospect it is, but I honestly don't think it's that bad. I want to put it in like high C, maybe even low B. Um, I'm not sure. For now, I'll leave it in high C because I guess if you don't know music theory, if you struggle with playing chords, it gives you the MIDI for that. And from there, you can go and edit it, which is great. You can give, whatever key you need, F minor, B flat minor, or C sharp major, whatever you name it, it can generate it within a click of a button. And so it can be really useful when you're in a rut, creatively, you just need to start something. However, if you're trying to make something that really feels like, whether it's, feels like you want to create it yourself, it might give you mad imposter syndrome. And that's what it gives me, is whenever I'm using stuff like this, it doesn't feel like it's fully me. But I don't think this Unison plugin deserves that much of the beef it's been given. I think it's pretty decent for what it is. I just don't think I don't use it that much. So I'm going to give it a high C tier. This is the Bigfoot bass from Brahma Beats, an independent, I guess you could say, company made by a beat maker. So if you're trying to support, a fellow beat maker in arms, go ahead and check out his sounds. In this case, I really like the Bigfoot bass sounds. I want to say, I don't know, I want to say it's a low B tier. The sounds are cool. They're super unique. Everything, you just, whether you have a keyboard, you just happen to have a mouse and keyboard, right? You can do the MIDI notes. The issue I had with it is the download process. It's not, not that it's points against him, but for some reason, when I went to download this specific VST for Windows, the links I was given only offered me the Mac installation, and I used it on my Mac before I had switched a couple months back. But since that switch, I have been unable to use this plugin, and admittedly, I still need to get in contact with Brahma. But if you happen to watch this, look into that, see why Google is blocking your download, because that's the reason it was blocking my download for me, is Google is saying it was sus, but I got the other two downloads just fine. Anyways, LA2A compressor. This one's kind of like a go-to compressor. You can use it for individual sounds, your drum sounds, your vocals, your guitars, your pianos, you name it. If you need a solid compressor other than stock compressors, this one's definitely worth, the money. People review this. It's all over there. LA2A compressor, definitely a pretty solid choice. This one's a bit, I don't know, the Cymatics plugin bundle, because there's a ton of Cymatics plugins, and a lot of them, I'm not gonna lie, are filler. But there's some decent ones. I like the Illusion one. I like the, why am I blanking? Quake plugin, the 808 and bass one. And then there is the Corrosion plugin as well. They also have a key finder. That's one of their more recent additions, which key finding is very essential nowadays. But I'd say for what they offer in comparison to other, I guess, businesses and or companies out there, It just feels cheap. Um, Not to say that there aren't good sounds in here, but for the money spent, you could invest in another VST, like some of the ones I'll be mentioning in the future. So, you know, keep watching, keep watching. Anywho, Lo-Fi Panda. I think Lo-Fi Panda is pretty slept on. I know lo-fi beats in general are overdone, oversaturated, chill beats. However, Lo-Fi Panda has great sounds for it. If you know, from pianos, basses, flutes, instrumental stuff, like orchestral ideas, it's just a giant, like, it's like a little mini omnisphere, but for lo-fi guys. And it's got a cute panda. The interface, pretty solid, a lot of flexibility, add your own sounds in it, pretty solid, built-in effects, you really can't go wrong with it. High B tier, pretty good, pretty good. New Distort, I'm gonna give this one a low A tier. It is definitely, I'm definitely biased to it. It's really, really good. It's got this fold back distortion-y sound that I can't find anywhere else. It's really fun to play with on the guitars. I don't really do that often unless I genuinely enjoy the sounds that are being given to me. Yeah, definitely biased to this. If you've seen some videos on it, you'll see it's got some really creative stuff, but the guy who developed it knew what they were doing, so freaking shout out to them. Sky Keys. This one's hard, honestly. Not C tier. Above Bigfoot Bass. Above Lounge Lizard, but I think I'll put it at a high B tier. Because honestly, it offers a lot of sounds. It's just more futuristic sounding. So, but what you can do with it sound design wise, the amount of sounds that are offered, a ton of analog and vintage ideas, it's really cool. You could definitely get, you know, if you are sitting here for making, I don't know, 10 hours, making 10 different beats, each beat can be totally unique, and that'll change every time you mess around with this DAW. I like to think it's like it kind of reminds me of like a mini omnisphere. I want to say it's got like 100 something sounds on it, but you'll definitely have more than enough to make some really cool ideas, especially if you start adding plugins and effects in the mix. Super solid, and it's also really affordable, so can't go wrong there. Yeah. Lo-Fi AF. This one's hard to rank because I'm really biased to this one. I'll definitely put it above the Lounge Lizard, and I'll put it above the Brahma Bigfoot Bass. This one is almost like if a distortion, saturation, and compressor plugin, and it's got other features too, but they were just like had a baby, and it's really fun for drums. You can get some really cool crunchy sounds with it. I use it on my drum bus a lot, like I was, mentioning, and yeah, it's just fun. I don't know how to explain it, but every time I use it, I'm like, wow, that was fun, and making music should be fun, right? Analog Lab. This guy, I'll put above New Distort, simply because value-wise, it's just offers a ton. Honestly, I'll put it above LA2A as well. It has so many sounds. There's so many producers out there who have made sound banks using Analog Lab, where you can go and find sounds from your favorite freaking producers who have worked on some of your favorite songs, and it has a ton. It's like Omnisphere, a fraction of the price. I reference a lot of VSTs to Omnisphere just because for me, it was the first VST that I really spent money on and invested in that was big, and it's always been the holy grail in my mind since I started all those years ago, 7 years ago. But anyways, comparing it to Omnisphere, it is got probably just as many sounds, maybe a little bit less for a fraction of the price, but once you start investing in sound banks, you easily can have more. Unfiltered audio, Silo. I will put this at a high C tier for myself. It's a really cool granulizer, but I suck at using granulizers. If it doesn't have a preset where I can just click it and set it up, I just don't. I suck with the automation bit with it. I don't hear the concept when I'm making music. It's people who use them are like wizards in my mind. But I remember seeing Flume use it in a video, and I was like, wow, I want to be like Flume. Unison Bass Dragon though, what would I rank this one? Because I used to use this one a lot, honestly. I'm kind of biased to it. I definitely use it more than Silo. I definitely have used it more than the Bigfoot bass. Definitely used it more than the Lounge Lizard. But I love the Lo-Fi AF and the Lo-Fi. Yeah, I'll put it right here. For making bass lines, I think it's pretty solid. And if you have any knowledge of like music theory, MIDI, that kind of stuff, you can create chords and ideas from the bass lines being given. Same kind of premise as the Chord Genie. Click of a button. Whenever you're in a rut, you can use this. The sounds in it are pretty decent, but I'd honestly go with other sounds from 808s and basses from whether it's a different plugin or another producer's sound bank. But what it offers MIDI-wise is pretty solid. Unison Sound Doctor. Out of all the Unison plugins I've tried, I don't like this one. I think it's just a giant effects chain of blah, honestly. Like maybe some of the ones, I also haven't used it like that much since I bought it, but I made like 10, maybe 11 beats with it, and I just didn't like anything I made. Once I had the mix, it like, and I clicked the button, or like I tried the presets, everything just sounded either muddier or louder, and I just didn't like how it sounded. It didn't feel the same. It would totally change the vibe of the idea, and I don't know. Maybe you guys had better success with it, but I really could go without this one. Honestly, I would even put this in D tier because of how much money you have to spend on it. I didn't even put this in dog shit to pay for that. I'm actually gonna put it in dog shit because I don't even touch this thing, man. I don't know. Pan Man. This one's goated. God tier. If you need automated panning and you don't want to do it yourself, and it's just goated. Sound Toys makes really good plugins. Pan Man. God tier. Buy it. Valhalla Delay. I'm gonna go God tier. When you know how to use a delay, this just has so many options. I find I use this more than most of the delays I have. I've played around, especially I really like Reason's delay as well, but Valhalla's delay, I can use it for pretty much anything. Gonna be a common theme here. We're following it up with God tier Vintage Verb. The Vintage Verb is definitely God tier. Best reverb I've ever used, at least digital wise. UAD Polymax. I put it in between Lounge Lizard and Bass Dragon. It has a lot of sounds. For me, I just found it only has a handful of hip hop sounds that I can use since I only make so much electronic sounds. However, if you're big into Slayer, think Don Toliver, I'm sure you can do a little bit of sound design with the sounds in here and make something really crazy. I'm just gonna put it here, mid B tier. Safari Pedals. I'm gonna put it above the Bass Dragon, but below Lo-Fi AF. I think there's some pretty decent plugins in the Safari bundle, especially if you get it discounted. It's well worth it. But would I put some of these EQs and reverbs they have up against a thing like Valhalla's reverb or like a Pro Q? Probably not. But will I have fun using it on some kind of instrument or something for creative effects and purposes? Probably. Yeah, get a lot of plugins, VSTs as well, which I'll go ahead and add the super keys, which I already see it. Super keys will probably be like right below the U80 Polymax, but right above the Lounge Lizard. It offers just a little bit more options and sounds in terms of what it does, but it's like retro sounds for 8-bit, kind of like imagine old school Mario, old school Zelda, where it's super like arcadey, pretty good for what it offers. But that also comes with the Everything bundle and Safari's thing. Anyways, yeah, putting those rankings at the same time. Safari bundle will be a higher B tier, and the super keys will be more of like a mid to low B tier. All right, mini meters. I'm gonna put this at a low S tier, because honestly, not a lot of producers make content besides posting an audio snippet. And at least with this, it maybe will give you the courage to at least put a screen recording of your, whatever you've worked on, and you've got some audio, like some cool visuals. And for myself, I know this was a big step for me getting into the whole content scene and at least reposting on Instagram and posting myself more specifically. So in terms of tier wise, I'm putting this in S because it's going to give you that content boost if you use it for that. If you don't and use it simply for the mixing part, which it's still useful, but if all you're doing is using it for the mixing part, I'm going to put it at a higher C tier because it's going to kind of let you know when you're peaking, when it flares red. But other than that, it's just fun and gimmicky. But if you use it for content, I would give it a low God tier because you honestly, if you start playing around with this in terms of making content, you'll start asking yourself the right questions, and then especially if you capitalize on that and keep going, you never know where that can take you. So Minimeters, God tier content wise, super cheap. Start playing around with content, start fucking seeing your visuals for your own music. You'll get a kick out of it too, it's fun. UAD's Oxide tape recorder. Honestly, pretty decent. I use it. I would go right here. I'd put it above the tape recorder that the Safari Bundles gives, the Rabbit tape, but I also, there's times where I'll use the Rabbit tape instead if I want it to be even more like, if I want it to be intentionally like muddy or crackly, but this one's kind of more of a cleaner mix with the Oxide tape recorder. And I use this, I'd say on my drums more so, whereas I might use the Rabbit tape on my guitars. But I would say if I had to grab for one of the two, I'd probably go Oxide tape recorder. Bleece multiband compressor. This one's pretty fun. I'm gonna put this right in between those two guys we were just talking about because I kind of use some of these in unison. My Bleece multiband compressor, not that it's mine, but when I'm using it, I'll use it in my drum bus, and it's pretty much, it'll come after the Lo-Fi AF, and then the tape will come after the it would be tape, then Lo-Fi AF, then the Bleece compressor in terms of how the chain works. It just gives you a lot of control over your mids, your lows, and highs, but it makes it pretty simple to control all of it. And if you're familiar with attack, sustain, delay, all that kind of stuff, if you know how to use a compressor, do it after you EQ, so on and so forth, it can be pretty useful. And yeah, I fuck with it. It's affordable. It's fun. This one, I'm gonna go, this is the Dragonfly by Bleece Audio. I'm gonna go with the low C tier. The reason being is because they have a video on it on their website, and they make it look really cool. I couldn't find out how to do it a reason, and so for that reason, and just the presets it has, if I were to put it on vocals, it's okay. I would probably grab any other vocal chain. Omnisphere, my holy grail. If you have the money, it's definitely worth it. I only have the old version, but even the old version's still worth the fucking 500, whatever they charge. But yeah, I love Omnisphere. You can make a ton of content with it. You can make a ton of ideas with it. You buy this thing and you will be making beats for the rest of your life if you like it, if you want to. Probably one of the best investments I've made in terms of VSTs and plugins. It's awesome. I love it. It's definitely expensive. I wish they had it on sale more often, and I wish they didn't make you pay for downloads. But I see why they do it, because it's so good. And it's Omnisphere. So if you have the money, try and get it. I'm going to follow it up with Keyscape. And Keyscape, I'm going to put right under it, because Keyscape's pretty much is like the same kind of thing. And if you have Keyscape and Omnisphere, you can load your Keyscape sounds through Omnisphere all in one DAW. So that's a double bonus. But again, it's super pricey. But it's if you want a ton of awesome piano sounds, think like Lounge Lizard, but like times 100. If it were to go like Super Saiyan God, no, it's like if Lounge Lizard went Ultra Instinct, that's Keyscape. Auto Key. I'm gonna put this at a high A tier, because some people probably don't need it, but I need it. It's, if you are making a beat, sample, whatever, trying to send an idea out to an artist, this is how you're going to be able to find the key. Yeah, bang. Shaperbox, pretty darn good plugin. I haven't been using it recently. I know a lot of people like to use it. I really like the drive plugin on it. I like the halftime plugin, though I tend to use halftime itself more. I want to say the chopping effects are pretty fun if you're looking for some quick chop. Filters are really fun too if you need a quick sidechain or bandpass. I'm gonna go with the low A tier. I think you can't go wrong with it. It has a ton of ideas that you can use with it. And if you were to only have Shaperbox, you probably could get by with just having this. I myself just haven't been using it. So we're actually gonna take a moment and rank the Bigfoot bass because I like the Brahma Beats West Coast sounds. And we're gonna put it right below the Lo-Fi Panda. If you're looking for a whole bunch of like West Coast hip hop trap kind of basses and 808s that are different and unique, so they're not going to sound like your Spins 808, you know, but they're going to be cool, so you could be, you know, a little bit more creative with it. And, you know, for myself, that's right up my alley. I think it's fun. I use it pretty dang often, so I'm giving it a high B tier. And the functionality of it's pretty solid too. And we're going to do the same thing with Trapstar, except I'm going to give Trapstar a little bit of a higher rating because it offers more than just bass sounds. It's got strings, pianos, leads, you name it, synths, all sorts of really cool sounds. OTT is pretty solid. Ever since I got the multi-band compressor, I don't use it as much because I can just manually, with the attack and sustain, see how much it, you know, do the forward drive or the backward kind of thing. But we'll put it above Oxide Tape. For me, I'll put it below the Bleece just because I prefer it, but OTT is also really solid and it's free. Effectrix, my baby, I'm gonna put it just because these are the holy grails for me, and I can't make them lower than the top. But Effectrix very much is a close third. I find it's like a more fun Shaperbox because I put this on my drums. I'll put this on my melodies after I've created a concept, and I'll bounce it, then throw the Effectrix on it. It just gives me some really cool ideas. Sound Toys Devil Lock, I'm going to put it below New Distort for myself, as I prefer the foldback distortion here. But the distortion it offers is really good. I just find I prefer having a little bit more options, play the cool freaking imagery. It's just more fun for me. But Devil Lock is also really solid. Can't go wrong with either. Plate, Mr. Plate. Honestly, I'll put it above Shaperbox because I use it more than that. But I think it's really good. I just think I only use it for vocals or maybe the occasional snare to make it go like on every offbeat. So and that like louder crash I could do with the plate. But that's really like what I'll use it for. Thinking about it too, I am gonna move fucking Sound Doctor to dog shit. And I'm gonna move Bleece Audio Dragonfly to D tier because I think the presets are pretty. And not to mention that I haven't touched this. One day I'll touch it again and maybe I'll move it out of the dog shit tier. But for now, Sound Doctor's in the dog shit tier. Finally, last but not least, Xenology. I use Xenology probably as often as I use Effectrix. I'd rank them equally, because you know I kind of use them in unison. Whatever I cook up with Xenology, I can chop up with Effectrix. We'll go Omnisphere, Keyscape, Xenology into Effectrix, Panman. Yeah, but yeah, this is my tier list of all the plugins I've bought over the years and tried out, and personally think, or this is what I personally think of them. Hopefully you guys don't rip me apart for throwing some of these in the lower tiers and some of these in the higher tiers, but I also, I like what I like. But let me know what you guys think and if you agree or not.